Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Hope you guys are all doing well. We're gonna get started. Into it. Literally, I'm starting already. We're gonna get started into it. Sorry, what am I saying? We're gonna get started on it. Okay, so there's three topics. The first one, let's talk about the first confirmed news, which is Lewis-Skelly. Now, it's just been announced by David Ornstein that Lewis-Skelly is getting a contract. He has signed his contract extension. I'm not too sure. I didn't look up on how long it was, but it doesn't matter because that's great news. Because there was some talks at the start of the transfer window. Apparently, Real Madrid actually inquiring about Lewis-Skelly, and let's be honest, Lewis-Skelly, breakout star of the season, probably breakout star of the Premier League last season. I mean, the guy comes on at 17 years old, and the way he performs ends up being one of our regular 11s. I mean, like the guy, I mean, how often are you going to see that? The chances of a 17-year-old, by the way, bear in mind he's 17, comes in and he's playing like he's 26 years old. Like this guy in some big games, he's standing out. And one thing about him is he has that flair about him where, he's not always passing sideways. He's always willing to take a risk. Every time he gets the ball, you can see there is some sense of urgency to his play. And that's something that not every player has, and that's not something you can coach into a player. So it's either a player, it's something the player has or just doesn't have it. And Lewis-Skelly seems to be a player that has that ability where for him every pass, every time he gets the ball, his intention is clear: is to drive forward, is to progress the ball. And how many chances he's created with that, I've lost count. Of course, there are times where he does lose the ball, but look, the guy is 17 years old, and that is one of the drawbacks to playing this way. When you are so willing to drive forward, you will of course be caught in possession, but it's something that you just have to accept. It's just something you have to accept, because to be honest, I'd rather take that than the sideways boring football that half of our players play. So for me, it's brilliant news, and I think, look, we have to protect our talent for so many years, so many seasons, man, especially under Wenger, where we get young talents, or where we have a talented player and we just don't give them a good enough contract, and we end up losing them on a very cheap deal, or end up even losing them on a free. So it's important that Arsenal do learn from their past mistake. Now, the second topic to talk about is actually Šeško. Now, for me, but I'm getting tired of talking about these two players, Šeško and Gyökeres, because it just seems like no matter how much we talk about it, nothing is happening, and it looks like that is the news again. But this today, it was a bit different because I'm getting conflicting reports. Like, I'm literally seeing conflicting stuff on the internet. One journalist was saying apparently there was an agreement between Šeško and Arsenal, and today, and Fabrizio Romano comes out saying there's been no agreement between Šeško. So that's Šeško and Šeško and Arsenal. And I think today David Ornstein, sorry, Fabrizio Romano comes out and says, as far as he is aware, there has been no agreement between Šeško and Arsenal. And for me, apparently, it looks like it's the contract. It looks like it's the transfer price. Apparently, Arsenal are not willing to pay up to 100 million euros, and I agree with that. Why should we be paying 100 million euros for a guy who scored less than 20 league goals last season? So it makes sense. But we need a striker, man. We need a striker. I mean, you see so many top teams move forward. Even today, I'm seeing apparently Liverpool will be interested in signing Isaac, and they would break the transfer record. And I can't help just feeling sad about how Arsenal are moving the transfer window. We have to be one of the most depressing teams in the transfer window. We move way too slow for a club that's been tracking this Šeško guy for 2 years or 18 months. How are we still in a position where we have no personal agreement? Yeah, we have no agreement with the club. Like, what have we been doing for the last 18 months? Just watching his YouTube clips. I mean, we could have done that. The fans could have done that. So this transfer has to be the most slowest, painful window yet, especially when you see so many clubs, moving forward, signing big players. Manchester City, they collapsed for one season. Look at the team now, completely different team. So I know a lot of fans are going to say I'm overreacting, but to be honest, we've seen this story. How many times have we seen how slow Arsenal move in the transfer window? Everyone says, well, don't overreact. And come deadline day, we're going and signing Raheem Sterling. So it's the same story. Honestly, it's the same story. But we need to get something right. Either Šeško or Gyökeres, just go sign one now and get them bedded into the team. And the final topic to talk about is, of course, Thomas Partey. Now, Thomas Partey. Now, as of now, there has been no decision on whether this guy is staying or not, and I don't even know. Apparently, he has high contract demands, or he's demanding high salary. And I understand from his perspective where he is in his final year. He's probably never going to get a bigger contract than this. And he's like, to be honest, if he leaves Arsenal, the most he would get is probably one more club in Champions League at top elite level, and then then unfortunately he will go to this a bit lower terms in football, like maybe the I don't even know what league he's going to go to. But for me, the contract it makes sense and it doesn't, because firstly, the guy is expecting higher wages, and for me, that's the part where I can't get my head around it. This guy has been here for 7 years. 7 years Thomas Partey has been here, and this is his first season where he's given us a full season. The rest of the 7th season, this guy could not afford to stay fit. And for me, I was at the point at the start of the season where I wanted this guy gone. Regardless, I wanted this guy gone because of the fact that I know he's given us one. I know he's played well for us this season, or decent for us, but 1 season out of 7 is what he's given us. But now my opinion has changed because of the fact how the season ended. We cannot afford to go sign another midfielder, and it's simple. That's the simple truth. With how bad we've been attacking in, up front, how bad our attacking depth is, we cannot simply go and afford to sign another midfielder when it's going to take money out of the mid attack. This manager Arteta talks about fine margins every single time, and all I want is I want him to get the players he wants, so there is no excuses. And us selling Thomas Partey or getting rid of him mean you have to sign then another 20-30 million pound dud. Okay, it's got to be another Spanish dud we're going to sign, and then in another 2 seasons, guess what, this guy's not good enough, let's get rid of him. So for me, that is the only reason why I'll keep Thomas Partey, just because of the fact that I do not want the money on a mid or on the attackers going into a midfield. I want 100% investment in the forward line. I do not want any investment into the midfield, because I'm sick and tired of signing midfielders and defenders, and midfielders and defenders who are one in 3 end up doing something. Like, we don't sign any players that have any X factor. No midfielders have any X factors. So what's the point? We know he's going to end up signing another, a steady Eddie midfielder who just wants to do 55 sideways passes. So that's why for me, I'm sick and tired of any money going into midfielders, unless he signs a midfielder with some sort of X factor, like a Morgan Rogers, someone that can elevate us. But if he's going to sign another 80 overall centre mid on FIFA from the Spanish league, forget about it. So that's my stance on it. If you're going to sign a good midfielder, get rid of him. If you're not going to sign another good midfielder, or you're going to sign some, like I said, 80 overall on Spanish, from the Spanish league, a golden card, don't get him. Waste of money, absolute waste of money. Because I just want the money to go on the forward line. And yeah, but that's just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. The fixtures have come out. Manchester United on the opening day. Probably making a video about that tomorrow, talking about my thoughts just about Arsenal's opening day fixtures. But apart from that, if you enjoyed these type of videos, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.